A close neighbour of Terry and well known for a defence of the Camden Town environment. And she is well qualified to speak on the Camden Town scene. Terry would often mention Beryl's opinion in some way when he needed to reinforce his own argument, which was when he was losing. Beryl is well qualified to refresh our memories of Camden Town in the 1960s. She's a native of Liverpool and has probably inherited a lot of their local wit. And she's also, to her shame, I might say, a fellow smoker. Those who knew Terry, he was a chain smoker, and Beryl is of the same persuasion. So I take great pleasure in announcing Beryl Bainbridge, who is going to speak to you for a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel a bit in awe of speaking to this kind of audience because it says on the notes that I'm supposed to speak about Camden Town in the 60s, and I'm sure you know far more about it than I do. I came here in the 60s from Liverpool with 3 children, and my then husband bought a house in Albert Street. And so in a way we were part of that gentrification programme that Terry was going on about. In those days you could get enormous grants from the council to do up properties, and the house cost £9,000. In every room there was a gas cooker and grease stains, and then we turned it into a family home. There were, of course, people that had always lived there, still in the street. There was the pickle man, who was sometimes called the cockle man, who used to sweep up in Plender Street and arrive on the doorstep with bags of cockles, which I always put in the bin to my shame afterwards in case we all went down with salmonella. There was the biscuit man who gave the children broken biscuits, which they loved. There was Mrs. Torrow, that went every day to the betting shop. There was Jean and Eric, and there were other people whose names I can't remember. Some of them are still with us, thankfully. Mrs. Torrow was rehoused, the cockle man died, Willie, the drain man, died. And in those days the children could play out in the street at night. There were lots of children. And they could go out and play in the street. They used to park the cars down the middle, not at the sides. And if the children kicked a ball too hard and a window got cracked or a car got touched, residents could run out and without fear of the children swearing at them or actually attacking them, could settle the matter on the spot. We also had old street lamps. Gloucester Crescent had the same sort of ones, and ours were dug up and various people phoned and said, you know, why are you taking these lamps away? They fit the street. And nobody took any notice. Gloucester Crescent actually got theirs replaced. Unfortunately, I didn't know Terry then, though whether he would have approved of hanging on to the old street lamps, I don't know. I got to know Terry when he moved from Fairfield Flats to the corner house, which had been lived in until then by Pauline Manny. Pauline and I used to, shortly after moving in, I became what's now called a single-parent family. And Pauline and I got a job at Bologna's bottle factory, wine factory. We got 4 and 6 an hour, and we sat in sacks because it was very cold. Actually, we weren't allowed to sit down, but Pauline, being very strong about these things, made sure we could. And we were also allowed to wear rubber gloves, which was a great innovation. Then Pauline moved, and Terry moved into her house on the corner with his children, Bobby and Mickey. And I got to know him pretty well. We used to sit on the step in the summer and argue about politics. I mean, I'd been interested in politics, seeing I came from Liverpool, but I'd got a bit fed up with it after a time because I'd become cynical. I didn't see that much could be done. And as I was sort of comfortable myself, I didn't really actually put myself out to help anybody else, but talking with Terry, we had these arguments about what was needed. and I admired him enormously for both his intelligence and his energy. We did have one bone of contention that we never settled, and even a month or so before he died, I was still muttering about it, and that was education. My theory is that it's all very well to talk about what the young can do, but it's absolutely no use unless you give them a decent education. My children went through the state system just as his did and everybody else's, but I felt that the state system had let them down. It wasn't that I think that they should have gone to private schools. I just think that the educational system should have been and still should be improved, and that's the only way that young people will get their say. For the latter 5 years or so of Terry's life, I didn't see a great deal of him, except from the bathroom window, where he would shout out and say, "Bring back a copy of the Standard" or something. But I actually say, without sentiment, though it is of course sentiment, that I miss him very much. He was a good man, a fighter, a cocky little chap, and we probably won't see his like again. Thank you.
Right, I'd like to thank Beryl for that contribution, and the next part is Terry Hargraves and the Tenants.